then this country will be very well placed.
Well, some nods from the audience about transferring to younger generation, I see. It was interesting, Sandra was talking about 5% down, and I remember in the the Thatcher depression of the, 92, 94, 5, we went into that construction industry 1.52 million and came out under 1 million. So we lost actually about 35% of people in that recession. So it's interesting, we're just talking about 5% in 1 year. Goodness knows, as Tim was saying, it'll probably go on for quite a few years yet, so it'll be interesting. Rudy, would you like to say a few words, and then Peter?
Yeah, I'm not an expert, Chairman, on this subject. So, but my observations, I think, are this. That document I referred to earlier, the Select Committee report, Construction Matters last year, was actually quite hard hitting about the industry's failure to train. I think the figure it used was that only about a quarter of construction firms actually train apprentices, which it said was a disgrace. And I agree, it is a disgrace. And it's a disgrace because of the state of our industry. Tim was asked earlier about toxic debts. Almost every debt we have in the industry is toxic. Has been for years. The state of our industry in terms, again, I go back to this question of practice and our commercial practice, is such that firms find it very, very difficult to sustain a level of training, or the necessary level of training, I should say, particularly the higher level, because that is really what matters, I think, because one of the things that one of our greatest weaknesses, I think, is that we really don't have the skills to manage the design process effectively. That process of managing design process, demands quite high level skills. We haven't got many of those currently, let alone what we might need in the future. And we let ourselves down because we don't manage the design. Most of the problems in this industry are caused because of poor design. And that includes defects. Most of the defects are caused by poor design. So Chairman's going to disagree with that. I'm trying to inject a bit of controversy.
Comment from the audience.
FE colleges, Chairman, we just, most FE colleges still teach carpentry and joinery, bricklaying. Now, I've got nothing wrong, there's nothing wrong with that. But, industry's moved on a little bit. The engineering skills, now, the technological skills that this industry requires, where are they being dealt with? The lift industry, for example, as an example, have recognised that. And they've actually organised themselves to deal with their own training. They've set up an educational trust. And they actually, they work with their membership, as the relevant association, and they actually address the needs of the industry themselves. Right from the lowest level of MVQ, right up to a master's degree at Northampton University in, is that University of Northampton? Oh. They would say so. In a master's degree in lift technology. So okay. There you go. Anyway.
Can we just before we come to Peter, I'd like to invite comments from the audience, either from that particularly provocative point about FE, which is interesting, and we also have, I know, at least one or more architects in the audience and quite a bevy of engineers, so there might be a comment from the audience, please. Do you want to go first?
I'm a strong Barry Whitman, I'm Cambridge Regional College. I'm a strong defender of FE, and I'm a strong defender of...
I taught in FE, so am I.
I'd just like to say that, yes, we do train at Cambridge Regional College in the many traditional trades, crafts, and technical and professional disciplines, carpentry, brickwork, up to foundation degree. But we also have a unique modern methods of construction program here, where we deliver a wide range of modern methods of construction programs to full-time students, to manufacturers and employers that require bespoke training. So Cambridge Regional College has got quite an innovative curriculum portfolio under its Smart Life banner, offering modern methods of construction, and there needs to be a lot more of it. In many respects, we've had to develop those programs because they're not available in terms of qualifications, but we are feeling that we're leaders in that.
Chairman, I think my point has been made.
Yeah, I think
we need a lot more of it.
Sure. And it does it up to HE level. Thank you. Peter, would you like to?
Yes, I mean, this isn't entirely my field, but I think a short comment I make is the end that interests me is the design end in terms of architects and planners and the skills there. And I think it's architects and planners who are suffering particularly at the moment in terms of being laid off. And I think that there's a great risk that we dissipate the skills that we've got at that end, particularly actually in local authorities, because it's been pretty tough to get local authorities to actually employ urban designers and people who can have an informed dialogue with architects and developers about planning proposals. And yet these are the sorts of jobs that are getting cut at the moment because they're seen as being rather sort of the icing on the cake rather than the cake itself. And I think there is a risk that over the next couple of years that we'll take several steps backwards, and so that when things do recover, local authorities will be in a much worse state in terms of being able to engage in a positive and efficient way, if you like, with the industry as things do pick up. And I think that's an area we've also got to be very, very careful
Any
about.
positive steps you would recommend that to try and prevent that happening?
Well, I think that what interests me within the East of England region is that we don't have anywhere, for instance, there's nowhere where there's a part-time urban design course, for instance. I would desperately like, particularly Anglia Ruskin maybe, or maybe one of the other universities within the region, to set up an urban design course that would be where people during this downturn, if you like, could skill themselves up, so that there is the opportunity when if people are working part-time, they can be getting these additional skills, so that when the jobs come back, that they will be there much better place to take those opportunities. It always annoys me when I was at the City Council, when I always said to any development controller who wanted to do an urban design course, I'd find the money for it, but we had to send them either across to Oxford Brookes or down to Westminster, the two nearest places. So there are some quite big gaps, I think, within this region in some areas of the technical skills that we need at that end of the process, which is obviously very different from the sort of the front line of the construction industry itself.
Any comments from the, yes, one there, and then we'll go on to the next question.
Sean Scotney, I'm from Oakley College, so I'm here under safe conduct. We have a lot to learn from Cambridge, but we are developing the same things. For example, we are actually developing a lift course at the moment, which is quite interesting. One of the things that we pride ourselves on is our employers forum. We have a number of major employers from different backgrounds. They include people from BRE, Jarvis, which is a modern method of construction. So we actually have input from employers into our courses. Now that's a kind of plea to everyone here present. FE colleges need employers to tell them what they want, what they can do. We've started this, it's working extremely effectively. We were delighted that we had senior people from major companies who were prepared to take time, come to us and tell us their needs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd like to move on to the next question, which is John Canton, who's an engineer and in charge of the Institution of Civil Engineers in the East of England.